Good evening. My name is Lydia Melgarejo, and I'm going to answer some of the questions. So, the first one is Frederick Douglass believed that education is power and that it was the path to freedom. Um, yes, that is correct. Because we need education to have knowledge, and with knowledge, we can achieve anything. So, for example, there's so many things going around the world, but if we don't have knowledge of what is happening, how do we become the movement to help, um, first to know for our own sake, but also to be part of the movement if something injustice or if there's anything going on. So, and then educating ourselves, knowing how to read and write. And unfortunately, it's very sad that in third world countries, education itself, public school system, it's not it's not in some schools. So some schools they have to pay. Some schools don't allow females. So education should be something that every child gets, not regardless of their gender, regardless of their color. Every child should have access to education. Um, if that is true, then why is there still a racial disparity in education? Well, unfortunately, education equality is about race and gender and about who's less privileged and, if you're condemned to poverty and unemployment. So it's happening. In some countries, like I was saying, females are not allowed to go to school, um, which is totally wrong, but they're not allowed because it's a male dominant countries that don't allow females to get educated, to go to school, to become successful, to have a career. They don't allow that. And then at the same time, there's a lot of race issues when it comes to certain areas, like something that if it's supposed to be funded by the state, even in America, it doesn't occur in suburban areas that you know most it could most type of different race don't get the same education. Like private is not the same as public, and I don't think it should be matter of public, private, um, any standards. The education should be the same for all genders, for all race. So they shouldn't say, okay, this put one in one area, the other one in the other area. It should just be equal for everyone, in my opinion. And the other question is, does that impact people's future? Of course. Someone who doesn't have education, if they don't have, their elementary school, middle school, high school, that does affect because how are you going to have a career without having education? How are you going to be able to communicate? Like if even if you go to the doctors and you have to sign paperwork, but if you don't know how to read, how are you able to know what's going on with your health, to read, to give permission, to sign, if you don't even have the basics? How are you, if you have a family, if you have children, how are you supposed to help them if you yourself don't have education with reading or writing? So I think it's very important for your own benefit so you can achieve your goals, so you can have the knowledge, so you can, and also to get a career because everybody who wants to have a career, they need to have education. Of course, like I said, elementary, middle, high school, college, a degree. So, but if you don't have access to these resources, if you don't have access to school for whatever reason, then you can't succeed as a professional. And like I was saying, even as in your personal life, if like I was saying, if you go to the doctor, etc. So why did I decide to go to college to get my degree? So like Frederick Douglass was saying, education is power and it's to freedom. So I decided to go back to school for my RN because as a licensed practical nurse, I have learned a lot. And then also I'm sometimes doing work as a registered nurse, but I'm not getting the pay. So I decided to go back to school because I love to learn more things, and I'm blessed that I can go back to school and continue learning. But I understand also that in other places, there's nothing, in other parts of the world, this is not something that is like a privilege in here, but in other countries is not. It's not acceptable. It's prohibitive. I know in some countries, females are not allowed to go to school, not even to first grade or anything at all. Let's not even say a college degree. And then in other countries, its education is very expensive. And I think here I have the opportunity in America that I can go back to school, that there's financial aid, that I'm not I'm just I have the privilege, and like I said, I'm blessed to continue my education here. Um so so I think like Frederick Douglass is saying, that education is power, that is the right to freedom, that it will help you achieve your goals, and to, like I said, to just to have that in you, to help others at the same time, because when you have that certain knowledge for yourself, and then you see so many things happening out there, that you can also help other people. And having this being education part of your right, that it shouldn't just be it's here and there, but it should be part of your right for everybody. Everybody should go to school, everybody should get a degree, everybody should be allowed to have this. It shouldn't just be this part of the this country, should be everywhere else where education is important, and it's a right for